And welcome to the Steve Malzberg Show. It's Monday from our New York City studios. It's also World Series Eve, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to have a congressman on who's rooting for the Royals in just a moment. Don't go away. He was also on the Benghazi committee who was grilling Hillary. But first, a lot of developments over the weekend. First of all, Ben Carson solidifying his lead in Iowa over Donald Trump. Trump says that he's being divisive right now because he wants to win. He brought up Ben Carson's religion. You also have Jeb Bush saying, I could be doing better things than dealing with all this. If you want all this divisiveness and meanness and attacks and responses, go to Trump. What does that mean? What exactly is the significance of that? And Hillary accusing Bernie Sanders of sexism because he said she shouts. Aw, poor widow Hillary. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's watch this from last week's hearings, and then we'll go to the congressman himself. Watch.
How come not a single person lost a single paycheck connected to the fact that we had the first ambassador killed since 1979? How come no one has been held accountable to date?
Well, Congressman, the Accountability Review Board pointed out several people working in the State Department who they thought had not carried out their responsibilities adequately, but they said that could not find a breach of duty.
Yeah, it's kind of like, the Justice Department saying that Lois Lerner and her cronies, they acted poorly, but nothing illegal. Joining us now, as promised, Congressman Mike Pompeo of the great state of Kansas, member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, and of course, as he was acting there, member of the House Select Committee on Benghazi. Hey, Congressman, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, Steve. Thanks for having me on today.
I know we're on the eve of the World Series. You like the Royals, I like the Mets, so we'll see what happens. But look, you've had a few days. You've had the weekend to look back on this and the media and how they've spun it. My view is, and my take from day one has been, wow, gigantic revelations on the email she sent to Chelsea, what she told Egypt, what she told Libya, no communication at all with the ambassador from the day she swore him in, what you just raised with her, no one held accountable. These are all important things when it comes to judgment and even legality. And of course the media, all they did was yawn and say nothing new. Hillary was done a favor by the Republicans by letting her act presidential. How do you react to all this?
Steve, I have had a chance. I've seen some of the media across the weekend. They praised her for her theater, and I'll give you, it was good theater. But the facts are the facts, and I think the facts will long outlast the behavior of any of us, frankly, at the hearing. As you described, there was much, I think, that was learned by the American people. I can tell you there were many facts that no one's really said much about that the committee learned. That we will use as we continue our investigation.
Go ahead. Give me something besides maybe what
I can't give you a whole lot more, but there were some questions at the end about her efforts to use private security to arm the rebels. So there's a handful of things that we picked up that I think add to what you described, right? We now have laid out very clearly that Hillary Clinton misled the American people from day one about what happened that night.
Now, were you the congressman who asked her at the end about weapon transfers, and you said she didn't have to answer, but she could go in closed session, but she said no, that she didn't know about any of them?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
That was you. Okay, so how significant is that? Do you believe that there were weapons transfers, and that it would be almost unbelievable for her not to know about them?
I don't know the answer to that yet. What I can say is I wanted to make sure that we got her views and her knowledge on the record so that we would understand her position and the knowledge that she asserted that she had. Our committee is going to continue to pursue every element. We've still got lots of work left to do. Her own email said, forwarded to Jake Sullivan, said, hey, let's consider using private security experts to arm the rebels. And I asked her if she considered that, and she paused and said, well, no, not seriously.
Right.
Which is a yes.
Right.
Which means I did consider it. And so we have some work to do to follow up and make sure we understand all of the activities, because they go to how our government was behaving in Libya and how we ended up that day with all of that risk to these 4 Americans.
Were you surprised that she answered, no to weapons to the Syrian rebels, weapons to the Libyan, whatever? Were you surprised that she took the opportunity to go on the record there, or didn't want a closed session, or that she might have said, I can't answer that because, as you alluded to, the high level of sensitivity? Are you surprised she answered them?
I was a little surprised. These are very sensitive issues. I asked the questions very carefully, gave her a heads up so that it wasn't surprised. It was late in the day, and so wanted to make sure that we all had that right. But she chose to respond. She gave relatively unequivocal answers, and we'll continue to close that loop. If it's the case that it wasn't happening, the American people need to be aware of that as well. We've been accused of a prosecution. It really is an investigation. We will take those facts wherever they lead.
Do you believe that will become key? Do you believe that there's a conflict in her testimony to what the facts are? I'm not using the word perjury. Do you believe there's a possible conflict in what she testified to those answers as opposed to the facts?
I don't know, Steve.
Is that could be, or not at all, or you really have no idea?
It means we've got a lot more work to do, and we're going to keep after it. Nothing more than that. We wanted to give her in every question that we asked. We gave her all the leash that we could. We let her respond fully and completely and vigorously, so that we could get the record laid out. We did it with respect to those questions and all the others, and we're going to take all of that information back. There were lots of places where we learned new little elements, and we'll take all that back, and we'll continue to do our task.
Might she be called again in the future?
We're certainly going to call back witnesses where we find conflicts in testimony. We're trying to clarify so that we make sure we give everybody a chance to get it right. I'd be surprised if we did, but goodness gracious, we found out other things that in some of the closed settings, which I do think require further examination. Anything
you think that the FBI would be interested in that came out of the questioning in their investigation into the emails?
Steve, I'll try. I like to leave the FBI.
Okay, fair enough. How about the Democrats on your committee? How do you judge how do you sum up their actions and behavior?
I found the behavior completely reprehensible. I don't know any other way to describe it, but it's pretty consistent with the way they have behaved since May of 2014. They haven't lifted one finger to assist us in finding out how the first ambassador in 3 decades was killed when we had all this forewarning, right? When we had 600 requests for security assistance, and yet not a single additional diplomatic security agent was provided to those folks, and yet they spent the bulk of their time cooperating with the witness, trying to give the witness, feeding the witness answers, and then attacking the members on our side of the committee. I think that's deeply inconsistent with a representative's duty to their constituents and to the Constitution, and I found their behavior that day to be just appalling.
One more for you, sir.
Sure.
Might you call, and why didn't you call in advance, or why didn't anybody use the quotes that they've made in the media? Maybe you have spoken to them in advance. I don't know. Any of the relatives of the dead, the parents of those who lost the loved ones in Benghazi, who have said really horrific things about what they think of Hillary and how they believe she lied, and what they told them. It was a video, even when the caskets came home. Why wasn't that used to confront her?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're all trying to be very sensitive to the family. In fact, Mr. Woods and Tyrone Woods' sister were in the room that day. I had a chance to actually speak with them that evening. We were trying to be incredibly sensitive to those families.
But they've spoken out, Congressman. They've spoken out on television.
I'm aware that they have. Let me assure you, we are well aware of what they claim that certain people have said, and we will in our report, we will write about that as well.
Okay. Have they testified before you? No.
I haven't ever talked about who's testified so far. Our report is not terribly far off from being complete. Stand by if you would, Steve.
Okay. Congressman, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too. Congressman Pompeo, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with Bill Kristol tonight, 8 and 11 p.m. Eastern. Newsmax TV's J.D. Hayworth is joined by Jeb Bush, who gives his take on foreign policy and his concerns with Donald Trump as Commander-in-Chief. That's tonight at 8 and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on Newsmax Television. Kristol's next. Don't go away.